We're discussing different aspects of the Seder. Last night I did what the Shiur Amar, the Kitzenimnitz. We said the Tzlach's famous Shita of double Shiurim, the double size of the Beitzim. At the end of the day, it's Machlokes HaPoskim if you have to come on, if you have to have it. But if you really want to know, at least have 4.2, like your Moshe. That's possible is 5.1, even though I told you some hold the Chas Nishir is even bigger than that, up to over 6. And if you need to, because of different reasons, to go slower, you can go, I would say, to Reb Chaim Noah's Shiur of 2.9, if at all possible. But again, you have to ask your local rabbi. Okay, now that's the Shiur. Next couple nights, tomorrow night and the night after, I'll be talking about the kezesim of Matzah. But tonight, I'm going to deal, how much do you have to drink? We know the size of the kos. But what's the minimum? How does it work with drinking? And what are the mechanics of it? Is b'sholish kosos or rishonos yesh lishtos roiv hakois. You have to drink the majority of the cup of wine. And what is the meaning of the cup of wine? Kloima roiv revius. You have to drink a roiv revius. Now, we're going to see there are mahader and some drink the whole kos for all 4 cups. However, at the end, when it comes to the kos revius, you have to drink the whole cup of wine, even if you don't drink the first 3 cups of wine. And even though there are those that say you should drink the 4 cups of wine in full, however, there are those that hold that you shouldn't drink the full cup of wine after the first cup. Brings down over here. We'll see if we can get into it today. To do a roiv of a revius. The kivish in the hagel ach by miris hagodi yosem chdei shiur equal. Kain yish the revius. Because of our bracha achroina. So there are different minhagim, and we'll see what we can cover. But I want to talk about this halacha tonight at first with kloima roiv revius. Now, b'shulchan aruch siman tafayim beisiv tes shiur roiv hakois is revius v'yishta kuloi arubai, and he brings down the shulchan aruch. You drink the whole entire amount or the majority. V'yesh bam kam revius and shaisim mena kol. You can even have a whole bunch of people drinking from it. However, there are those that say that roiv revius is not enough, but shetzarich lishtais roiv revius afilu matzah kam revius. You have to drink a roiv revius, a roiv of the kos, which is an opinion that's taken on. We'll see. Because there are poskim who hold the Taz, the Mishnah Berurah, the Vilna Gaon, all hold that you should drink the whole, or at least the majority. Because of Abach, the Apple gave the Kaimelon Linyan Kiddush, the Chatchil Sagi B'Roiv Revius. The Bach writes that even though normally we say you need a Roiv Revius when you have Kiddush Friday night, nobody drinks the whole cup of wine. Most people drink the majority of the cup. The Bach writes that since it was enacted to drink 4 cups, you have to drink the whole cup. However, Rav Shmuel holds the mistomah this really tiknelish this kol hakois daf gehu mishum da bekoises tekina rabbanim derech chayris. For yois derech chayris lish this kulam and letzamsim shtiyos l'ruba the kas bilvad. That this whole thing is al zderech cheres, which is not what you call engraved in halacha. Omnam, that's the Shitas Habach. However, Hamogen Avram v'oikam poiskim cholkem al zeh, they disagree. V'soyim d'shape doimelish this roiv rak roiv revius gam lechatchila. You can even drink a roiv revius. U'kamoshi is baya. Now, again, there's a whole question: what should you do? So Rav Shmuel held, it's a unique psak of his, that he says, don't bring down bring the majority. Like I mentioned previously, you got to go ahead and be careful about drinking too much wine after the first cup. Like we're going to write because of the bracha achrayna. That also the third cup, the hadas kan rishon shetzarich levach bracha achrayna al kois rishon v'shlishi, and you don't want to have to have this question of making a bracha achrayna. But after nahagish levach bracha achrayna, even though we don't make any bracha achrayna except after the fourth cup of wine, that's when we make a bracha achrayna. Hainu mishum safek brachas lahakol. But you don't go into safek brachas lahakol l'chatchila. Therefore, to keep it safe, on the safe side, you do a roiv revius. V'gam b'kosheni odas hariv shechayv l'varach achrov. You hold even by the kosheni. Shlachei nira del odef tzvei l'daktik l'shtis dafke roiv revius v'lo yoyse kedeshiyah. Because you're only drinking not a full revius, but a roiv revius. Since many poskim hold that all you need is a roiv revius and you're good to go. Like many a time you have that it's a chumrah that comes to a kula. You're going ahead to go ahead and be more firm, and you're going to go ahead and drink the full cup of wine, but you're putting in yourself into a dilemma about the bracha achrayna. Because for sure after the fourth cup of wine, there's nothing to be said that you have to make a bracha achrayna. Of course, then you have the question, the halacha that you should drink the whole cup. Okay, and this is how l'maisa we paskin. So at the end of the day, it all totally on minig also. There's minhagim. Okay, so let's go a little bit more in depth about this question of roiv revius, roiv kais, or the whole cup of wine. Should you go ahead and drink the full cup of wine at the end of the day? What's the Torah say? He says specifically, only right. Because Beis Yosef came mashma b'Gemara. Beis Yosef says he's right. Toisvis, kosul chatchil tzarich lishtes revius v'chem mashma divrei arosh. That a roiv, not only a roiv revius is enough. Mavuya shehevi mashkoz v'atur v'tzarich lishte kule el rubai drosloim gam l'chatchil l'shapidam l'ishtes rubai. It's good enough. Like many a like the Torah says. So that's how you could put it down from the Beis Yosef. However, the Bach brings that same Tosfos because of the Gambidas Ator Yesh Lefarish Hachi that you should drink the full revius. The Mashkoz vein Sarchlish Tzkula El Rubai. The Beruba Yotze, it's only you yotze that way, But is that the best way possible? No. So the Bach holds you should do the entire revius. And some say it means the entire cup. Avol chatchila yishtakula, you should drink it, it's an entirety. The Chemash Medivrei Torah Simin Tov Pei Vav, and he says that's what the Torah says. These same words, they both translate in two different fashions. Shekasav v'yishta revius rubai. The Ratzalaima, what the Bach interprets the Torah to mean, l'chatchila yesh l'shtois revius akan dvar. Boidai Maril, and the Maril says, v'yizor kol echad l'shtois kulei b'pam rishon k'dei lotzis yidei chavosi b'shtias revius. You should drink it in entirety. Lo yuchal l'shtois kulei yishtal chal apachas rubai. If you can't, then drink roiv. But Taz had to give Bach. The Taz brings down the Bach. B'chein kosav Eliyahu Rabbah. Gam ba'agrohe v'divrei Taz v'atoisvis, because of the Kenu Mashmois HaGemara. The Gemara is also mashma like that, and then the psakim Kovches Damrinin Hishke mehem lebanov nebeisai Yatsa v'hu d'shasaru b'dekasa. The lashon Yatsa mashma d'yevid. It says if you drink Rav Kais, it's okay. But it doesn't mean that avol lechatchila, but lechatchila yesh l'shtois kol hakos. A person should drink the whole cup. Mishtabura Hetik Devrayim brings them down. So you have a whole way, a litany, and he continues on that, on the same fashion. So Lamais, at the end of the day, there are different minhagim. I can tell you in Boston, we drank the full cup of wine if at all possible. But again, if you feel you're going to have your head spinning and you have a strong wine, then you can mix it with grape juice, like I mentioned from Rav Shlomo Zalman. There's ways of getting around it.
Really?
Yes.
Can you just elaborate? There's a question about Rosh Hashanah, if you had drinks the whole cup?
You don't have to worry about it. We go ahead and make a brach. We don't make a brach achroin after the first cup. We don't make a brach achroin after the second cup. We bench, and we're going to drink afterwards. But there's no question. There's only one time you make a bracha achroina, after the fourth cup. End of story. Now, we spoke about now how much you have to drink. And there's different shittas here. But there's another important ingredient here that we have to know when you drink a cup of wine. And it's important to know because somebody can drink a full cup of wine and still not be yotzeh the mitzvah of dalikoisis. Why? Because mitzvah min amuvcha lishtois roiv revius bevas achas. A person should drink in one shot at least the roiv revius. You shouldn't have more than a revius. And everybody knows, I mean, mela by men not so much, but by the noshim tzidkanias, they'll take a couple of sips and then they'll talk and they'll schmooze. And then it'll continue like that, and then it'll take them 10 minutes to drink the cup of wine. But even if you do it in a longer period of time, it's going to be problematic because they weren't yotzeh. Because just like you have to eat a kezayis b'chtei achilas pras, you have to drink the wine that it shouldn't take too much time of how much it would take to drink a revius. Has a certain shear, meaning besides the amount, there's also the time limit that you have to drink the cup of wine. So therefore you have to concentrate on the task at hand and drink the amount that is needed in the proper time frame. And this is what he brings down over here. Kosev haramosim in tofayim beisiv tezvov brings down a practical halacha. Ve'ein likach kosher piv tsar ke'ein klug gloz. There was a special type of glass that was called a klug gloz. You have this lashon of klug also in Masechta Kelim, Perik Daled Meinach. Over there, a klug. What's a klug? A klug is a type of receptacle that had a straw. Nowadays, you take a straw and it's a portable straw. You put into your glass. In those days, they had utensils that were created that it had a straw that in the thing. So it's brought down here in halacha. Don't take a straw utensil, a straw glass. Because you're not going to be able to drink a revius at one time. If you can drink it at one or at least two gulps, is better. In your matzah, just like matzah. He says, if you eat a half a kazayis and a half a kazayis, it can't be greater time amount than an achilas pras, a half a loaf of bread. What that is, what does that mean? It goes into halacha, and you have to, sometimes you machma this way, and sometimes you machma that way. Again, it's a chumra asli dekula, because when it comes to eating matzah, you go to the smaller time limits. We'll go into this another night. But when it comes to, let's say, if you have to have shiur for your kippur night, so it says you shouldn't take a certain amount more kesevis agasa. You can't go ahead and take an amount more within a achilas pras. So over there you go to the maximum amount. Therefore, sometimes it's like this and sometimes it's like that. It all depends, is it what it's pertaining to. However, over here it says the dafke b'di'ev yosim al chol chatzoin avachatchil yesh lechol hakol biyachad v'chein kosav magen Avram, that you're supposed to try to do as with one fell swoop. And the same thing it's brought down legabe drinking. Roiv revius b'vasachas. You should drink a roiv revius at one time. Vayamachsa shekel shekosav the labach v'taz the saver l'chatchil yeshlishus kol revius who adin saver shiachtus kol revius lepiv b'vasachas. If you hold you have to take the entire revius, it should be done with one fell swoop. So it's not so simple, because at the end of the day, again, it's a chumra asli dekula. Because if you think about it, you have a revius and you want to drink it at one time. So if you have a smaller revius, you can do it at one time. But if you have the biggest shiurim, then you won't be able to do it at one time. It's much easier to drink 3 fluid ounces at one time than it is to drink 6 fluid ounces at one time. So you might be yotzaschari befseidos. You have to be careful. But again, at the bare minimum, don't schmooze while you're drinking your wine, telling your friend next door to you how wonderful the wine tastes. And this is an excellent wine that you chose for the Seder night. It doesn't work that way. You have to keep your mind on concentrating to do the full amount, that you're going to drink it as fast as possible. Okay, and Lamaisa, this is how the Ramah also says it. Kosev haRamah simin tofayim beis v'tzorach lishtus hashir shloi behefse godl b'tayim. Not to make a pause in between. V'shir zeh toli beplukta b'shulchan aruch tofresh yud beis, he says, shosamat v'chos shosamat im yesh mitchil shtia rishoyna at soif shtia achroina kidei shtias revius, the amount it takes to drink a revius, which is not a long period of time. Merely you say b'chtei achilas pras, it's a lengthier period of time. Shiur, to drink a revius normally is a question of if you want to, if you continuously do it, it's a 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, that's it. 25 seconds. So you have to be careful on concentrating on this. And therefore, he also says, Rav Shmuel, the mistabra, the stam shtiis revius misharinin kidach shtiis b'nei adam she'ein shasu b'vasachas. You don't have to do it in one go. El b'shtei legimash shehu midas derech eretz v'afilu shasa karagel v'shah shiur regila be'en legimas v'chaz v'shasa shapa chashiv kidach shtiis revius. If you drink it in a normal fashion, that you're just drinking, you don't have to worry about it at the end of the day. He says over here that he even added, if you take 3 gulps, it's also not the end of the world. Someone who drinks with 3 gulps, the Chazal tell us, he's what you call a hardy person. Nobody says you're not drinking a revius. You're just drinking in a hearty fashion. Therefore, you have to be careful also. This is a catch-22. That let's say you take a strong wine, and the first time, okay, you drink it quickly. But the second time, you're going to go be hesitant and you're going to take it in small little sips. It becomes much more problematic because you want to have derech cheres. Not so simple, because you have to have it within a very short period of time. Okay, we'll continue in Metzhem tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going into the Indian of Achilas Kazeisen by Matzah. Rav Chananya ben Akashram is Baruch Zakas Yisrael. Lefik Chir B'Lam Torah Mitzvahs. Shenema Adonai Chofetz L'man Tzidko Yagdol Torah V'Yadir.